This drip all on my body, soaking wet the sunny. Looking like a walking liquor, you can tell I'm grinding. Rolling back was full of loud, I can't hear nobody.
What's up, fuckers? Episode 17, the Beer Latte Show. I'm Steve.
I'm Nick.
Danielle.
And today we have Tiffany Rice. Tiffany, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Yeah, fine.
I understand you're a spirit medium.
I am. So a spirit medium is someone who communicates with people that have passed. So past loved ones, friends, family, pets come through too. Absolutely love it. I love being a spirit medium. I've been doing it full time for the last 7 years. I love being able to give people validations and messages from their loved ones in spirit.
So how did you find out spirit can contact you?
Well, I always had a sense of knowing. Everybody has intuition. So intuition is that gut feeling that you get. So for me, I always had a sense of knowing. I can remember in high school having a conversation with someone, and I would start to see things behind them, whether it was a person or, when I say behind them, it wasn't I didn't see them physically. It was in my mind's eye.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, Tiff, do I have bad ADD? Like, can you just stay focused for a minute? But it actually turned out to be just being able to sense that there were other people around. It wasn't until a little bit later on in life that even I remember going to a baseball game and I would think oh, he's going to hit a home run, and he would. So I'd get all this type of information, and I just thought, okay, that was pretty cool. I could pick that out. But it wasn't until a little bit later on I started to really hone in on developing what that energy was. I became a Reiki master teacher back in 2008. Reiki is Japanese. It means energy life force. It's really great for deep healing and so forth. And the reason why I took it is because I really want to learn more about energy. I want to feel energy. I'd already started doing paranormal things as far as going on investigations and traveling all over to do that and reading locations. And so I wanted to just hone in as much as I possibly could. So fast forward, I ended up taking a class in mediumship. And at that moment, I ended up giving somebody a reading who I've never met. And the instructor had said, okay, I want you two to read each other. And I remember looking at this girl and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say. What if I'm wrong? And I had all these doubts in my mind. But like I said, when you have your intuition, you have to go with your gut. So the first thing I said to her, I said, okay, I'm just seeing red truck. I remember it verbatim. So I said, red truck, the name Lewis, the number 77, and a white V-neck. And she started crying.
Wow.
And of course, I didn't know what I did or said. I didn't have a story with that. I just blurted out, this is what I'm getting, this is what I'm seeing, and that's that. And sure enough, she said, that's my uncle. That's my uncle who passed away. He had a red truck. He always wore Hanes V-neck t-shirts. He was 77 when he passed. And his name was Lewis. So there was that connection right then and there. And she's like, well, what is he saying? And of course I looked at her. I don't know. I don't know, because I didn't know I wasn't developed yet in that, as far as for me, when I give a reading, it's an interview process. Just like you guys are asking me questions, I go in and I start asking questions to them just to get more information so I can get the validation. So when I had taken that class, it was just pretty much boom, boom, boom. This is it. I don't know what I said. I don't know who I talked to. I just saw that and heard that. And at that point on, that's when I was able to identify that it was actually spirit communicating with me. And it wasn't just me having ADD.
Was the class more or less, do you have to go inward, or are you honing your ability in some other way? Is it unexplainable?
No, I actually teach the classes now. So basically what I do, a lot of times people will contact me because they want to develop their intuition more. So again, everybody has intuition. Everybody. But just people are tuned in a little differently. Picture it like soccer. Most people have an idea what soccer is. You get on the field, you kick the ball, score a goal. But there's going to be some people that get on that field and they're just a natural athlete. They're going to have the strategy, they're going to have the speed, they're going to have the skill, and they're going to be a soccer player. And then you have someone like me that will get on the field and I'm looking around. I might look at some daisies, you know, run a little, walk a little, get a little out of breath, you know, like my heart's in it. Yeah, I'd love to play. I'd love to get exercise, but I'm not the best athlete, right? So what do? I can go to camps and I can go to workshops to develop that. So it's the same thing as your intuition. You can take a class to develop it. You can hone in on it. You know, certain ways to do that. You could meditate. And even with meditation, you don't have to go into this quiet room and sit there for hours on end. I always say, honestly, the best way to meditate, first and foremost, go in the shower. Give yourself 5 minutes in the shower just to close your eyes, feel the water, and allow yourself some deep breathing. So if you have kids, if, you know, I'm sure your life is crazy, at least you have that 5 minutes in the shower to just focus in on your breathing. Because when you can start controlling your breathing, it actually gives you a response of relaxation. So you want to practice with belly breathing, which means expanding your belly and keeping your shoulders down, and that will help relax you. Because when you start to relax, it brings you more clarity. So that's one of the first things I tell people. And then, of course, there's things that you can do at home. So, for instance, I'm sure you guys have a deck of cards at home,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and if you don't, I mean, you can go to Ocean State Job Lot or Walmart or someplace and get playing cards pretty inexpensive. They're like $1.50. And so what you want to do is just shuffle the cards. And as you shuffle the cards, I want you to pick a card. And don't look at the card, just hold on to it. And ask yourself this question. Okay, is it a red card? Is it a black card? What suit is it? Is it a number card? You can start asking whatever that card may be. And you want to go with your very first thought. So if you hold on to the card and you're like, you know what, I think it's a red card, chances are it could be the red card, you know? Okay, what number do you see? Go with your very first thought. You don't want to think too much. That's starting you to get on the wave of trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, and releasing that self-doubt.
That's interesting. Do you find that women do it more naturally than men? I guess because women's intuition?
I find that it is a good mix. However, the majority of people that attend my classes are women. So I think a lot of us go through that primarily like maybe in our 30s to 40s. We really start to find that we need that connection somehow. And I think it kind of is exciting. It's something new. It's something different. I mean, if you look at like Gabby Bernstein, who is an author, and she does these amazing workshops, and there's a lot of like self-help. Brene Brown is another one. Rachel Hollis, like you have a lot of these women that are really into this empowerment movement. And I feel like spiritualism and even like honing in on your own intuition and honing in on mediumship, whatever it may be, that holistic field, I think that sparks, or especially more so lately, has sparked even more of an interest, especially with women.
I think, and this is my intuition, but that she was hinting at that she always seems to know if I'm scheming or if I'm doing something. Her women's intuition always seems to call me out on it. I don't know.
I do, for real?
Sometimes.
Oh, look at me.
Because you're getting better at it.
She's on to you. She's on to you.
Or do I just know you?
Right?
When you said you were able to, like, oh, this guy's going to hit a home run and he hits it, you don't happen to know, like, the lottery number's coming up soon or anything that could really be beneficial for me?
You know what? If I got paid every time somebody asked me that question.
I was going to say that.
I'll pay you out if you just tell me the numbers.
So it's funny because I do get asked that question, but, I'm putting my intentions out there for my highest and greatest good all the time. And so it doesn't work that way because gambling isn't always like the best form of creating your abundance, because there's other ways you can create your abundance financially,
Yes,
and it's
Steve.
really putting Steve. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'll help some people out. Jeez, it's for my good too.
Hey, believe me, it's the same. It's so funny because I just did another show on Friday, and they're like, if we brought you to Vegas, and I'm like, okay, I definitely will go, but don't know how much money we're going to win.
If you're bringing me, fine, I'll go.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to bring me, I will be there.
I've always heard, psychics or, spirit mediums and everything. Nobody ever says anything negative. Is that because they're holding back, or because that's not the information that, like you said, you're there for the greater good? So is it because they're holding back, or is it because there's no bad on the other side, that they have anything to say negatively?
Well, how I would respond to that is, I always say it's for your highest and greatest good. So it's always the information that you need to hear, not necessarily the information that you want to hear. So I've had readings before where people have come to me and their loved one in spirit may be coming through, and they could be talking about their current relationship. Okay, like, okay, yes, I know you moved on from me and I see you with this guy, but he's also showing me that, there could be some communication issues going on and so forth. So me being the reader, I will give you the information that you need, but you also have to have some bedside manner, because you have to understand that the person that's sitting across from you is in some form of grief.
Right.
So you don't know what level of grief they're at. And before, like when someone makes an appointment with me, I don't ask them any questions. I always say it's good to wait a few months for, to connect with your loved ones while they transition. However, some people don't abide by those rules. So when you're in a deep level of grief, the words that I say, you could absolutely take 100% to heart, or maybe not take it the way that it's intended for. So you have to be extremely mindful of how you speak the words to the person that's sitting across from you. And again, it's always the information that they need and not what they want. So when we talk about, again, giving a reading to someone and their loved one in spirit is talking about their current relationship and saying, yeah, this person's not that great in communication, it's not necessarily where I would say, okay, so he's awful at communication and your grandmother's saying you guys are going to break up in 5 months, because, right, exactly. And you know what? I could sit there and give information saying, okay, well, she's just saying that he's not that great in communication, and you're such a driven person and you're very good at communication. But, you have to really trust your gut on this one and see. And sometimes it may bring into light what they're already thinking. But, look at the other side where that person could walk out of my office and say, you know what, I don't care what she said. I love him so much. And, just completely ignore everything that I said.
Basically, like kids.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I mean. Like, it's the information that you need to hear, not necessarily the information that you want. I mean, I remember giving a reading to someone where, they're, again, with a significant other, was in a really, really tough place. And he wasn't the greatest person to her. And at the end of the reading, she goes, so just a question, do you think we'll get married? And I thought, I'm like, wow. I don't know. I don't know. But with all the information that came out during the reading, so it really just depends on how the person takes that information. So me being the medium, it's my job to be respectful and have that bedside manner with conveying the truth, but yet always being mindful of who, the words that you use, because you never know how someone's going to take that information.
So here's my second question to relay off of what you were just saying. Do the deceased always know the future of their earthly friends or relatives, or?
Well, they have a different time schedule than us altogether. So the fun stuff with doing this is, for whatever reason, I'm always really keen on picking up on pregnancy. So I remember I was giving a group reading to somebody, and I had looked at this person, and she brought a newborn baby with her to her private group reading. And I said, you're going to have another one really soon. She goes, no, I'm not. This one's 3 weeks. And I'm like, Okay, well, your grandmother's showing me that, she's showing me the number 2, so there's going to be 2. And she's also acknowledging the month of September. So I feel like they're going to be close in age. However, I want you to pay attention to the month of September because, I mean, maybe it's not going to be this year. Maybe it's next September. Either you get pregnant in September or you're due in September, but it's one or the other. And she goes, nope, that's not me. I said, okay, just hold on to it. And that's what I say. If it doesn't make sense, I say, just hold on to it. And sure enough, she ended up getting pregnant in September, and so the babies were they're Irish twins. She was just like, she wrote to me and she goes, I just want to let you know you were right. So a lot of times they may bring up information that for us doesn't make sense yet. So when you do get a reading with me, I always tell people, you know what, you want to take notes. It's going to be a lot of information. There may be some stuff that may not make sense. So you're going to want to give it some time to digest. And then you never know, it very well could happen a little bit into the future. So, and again, that goes back to me saying that they don't have that time schedule. Like, it's not like, oh, it's 2 p.m. their time. They don't go by, like they don't go by time like that.
And when you do see them right now?
So when I see them, it's in my mind's eye. So think of what the outside of your house looks like right now.
Okay.
And if I was to ask you what side of the house is the driveway on, you'd be able to visualize that, right? Right. Okay. So that's your memory. And that same type of information comes to me, except it's not my memory. So that's where trusting your gut really goes in, like it goes into play, because I have to take my own stuff out of this. So I'm able to give you that correct information.
Are you seeing your own memories that make sense to you to relate to us?
No. None of my, I have to take my stuff out of it.
Oh, so, okay. Huh.
Yes.
Wow, that's
so
gonna be hard.
Yes. Yeah. Well, for instance, I was giving a reading on Saturday and I said to this woman, I was bringing her mother through, and I said, she's upset because, she gave you a bunch of different teapots and you just have them on display. Because what I saw in my mind, like a memory, was just teapots on a wall. And that was her mother showing me that, like, come on, what gives? Like, that was my gift to you, were these teapots, and you're not using them, you're displaying them. And so I said that, and the person I was giving a reading to, was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Yes, I have all these crazy teapots that she gave me, and I just like to look at them. I don't want to break them. That's a perfect example of me seeing something that, like, I don't have a connection with teapots. So it wasn't mine. Yeah, like it didn't belong to, I knew it didn't belong to me.
Right. There should be no way that you should know that, obviously.
Right, exactly.
Now, how do you feel, like you said the mother was upset? How do you know the emotion that the spirit is trying to convey to you as well?
It's usually how I hear them. Like, it wasn't like she was upset, angry, but what I saw was her throwing her hands up, being like, come on, like, what are you doing? So I took it as, like, she's just kind of giving you a hard time about it. Like, hey, come on, what are you doing? I gave you all those nice teapots and you're not using them.
That makes sense.
Oh, I was just going to say, I wanted to add on to that because this is another question I get asked a lot. I bring animals in spirit through. And so when animals come through, it's all on emotion. It's on emotion because they don't speak. They're not like, oh, Tommy's in the well. Did we find Tommy? That they don't.
Lassie.
That would have been so much cooler if you said they actually spoke to you. But.
But you know what it is? It's how I interpret it. So, like, sometimes they'll give me their name. Like, one really cool reading I did, it was a phone reading. I said to this guy that was coming through, I'm like, I just keep on, like, I see 2 dogs and I keep on seeing, like, astrology or astronomy. Like, it's just looking at the stars. So I took it. This is what I said to him. I go, so I'm not sure if this is just like, you would, like, lay down with your dogs and, like, look at the stars and they're just kind of showing me that as a validation to you. And he's like, no. His dog's name, one was Astro, and then one was like some sort of constellation. I don't know it, but it was like some sort of, like, weird constellation name. So he named his dogs, because he's really into the stars, which I had no idea. And he named his dogs, one Astro and then the constellation. Again, it was a hard name for me, so I don't remember it. Astro I can remember, but yeah, so that was their way of showing me, like, okay, there's 2 of them there. and they just show me like the stars and astrology and astronomy and the galaxy, and so that's why I said that. And he knew exactly what they were trying to tell me.
This is going to be way off, but you can bring through animals. So that just negates the question, all dogs go to heaven. So now I know. But what about trees? And this sounds so stupid, but everything's alive. Can you bring through anything else?
That's actually a really good question. Nobody has ever asked me that question before. As far as, trees don't talk to me. I don't get that. Maybe it might for other people, but my experience is a lot of times, again, it goes into a visual. So if I'm in a location, if we talk about paranormal stuff, if I'm in a location, I may be able to pick up like, okay, there are lilac bushes over here on the left-hand side. So in that sense, okay, but it wouldn't be like the lilac bushes are talking to me.
Right. Like the energy of, or the essence of.
Yes, like the energy of. Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a lot of times in readings too, like I'll smell lilacs or I'll smell roses or, and that's when I'll convey it. Like even the name rose, like I'm like, okay, I'm getting rose. So I don't know if that's the name of the flower, or I'm smelling roses and they'll say, oh, that was her name, Rose. Oh, okay. So the spirit is always in control. So they're the ones that give you that information. It's always, again, the information that you need to hear, not necessarily the information that you want. And they're here all the time. It's not just holidays, anniversaries. Yeah, they're here all the time, except they don't watch you when you go to the bathroom, take a shower, or do any of that other stuff. So don't worry, they're not peeking on you, but they are always here. Yeah, right? You're like, hello, can I get some privacy?
Yeah,
but no.
I don't want to see. I don't want her parents like looking at me in the bedroom. So
being like, hello.
Yeah.
I totally get it, but ultimately, yeah, they are always here. So
do you always hear things? Like say you're walking in the supermarket, is your mind just going crazy and you have to like run out of there? Or do you have like a way to turn it off?
No way. So it is exhausting. So I know you probably, or maybe you haven't seen any of the shows on TV that are medium based, but always remember there's always that producer that has you sign something first. So I feel like a lot of the reality based TVs are producer based TV, and I've done it. I've worked on one. So it's pretty much like if I was to be like if I gave a reading or connected for hours on end, I would be exhausted because it is extremely draining to connect. When I go in to do a gallery reading, which is an event where I have I've had up to 150 people in a room. It's literally like standing in the middle of New York City.
Oh, wow.
And you just hear like all these different voices going. Usually I'll pick up on the loudest one first.
So you have to have that really loud dead relative.
Yeah, right.
Never mind Aunt
Exactly.
Millie. She's never coming through.
Yeah, she's not coming through. She's too quiet. But no, but sometimes it's true though. The quiet ones do come through. They really do. And so that's why when I tell people, okay, what are you looking to get out of this? Like if you're just like, you know what, I'm kind of curious. I'd like to see a medium, but I'm nervous. I don't know. I would recommend going to a gallery reading because you might not get picked because there's no guarantee that everybody's going to get a reading, but at least you kind of have an idea how the night goes and what's it all about. If you're like, I kind of want to get a message, but I'm kind of scared, then there's always like the private group readings that you can do. Like for me, I'm located in Massachusetts, but I do like little private events of like 8 people. But if you're like, I really just need to hear from someone, then a private reading is the way to go. I always recommend a private reading. If you can do a private reading, do the private reading because it's me, you, and your spirits, and that's it. And that way you can ask any question you want, and I can devote the whole 60 minutes right to you.
Oh, so a lot of the times it's not just one spirit coming through. It's multiple, or how many hang out with
Yeah,
you?
I mean, Danielle, say you came to me for a reading. You could have like 3 or 4 family members coming through for you.
Oh, wow.
But say if you're like, Tiff, I want to come see you for a reading, but I'm going to bring my friend Jen with me. Okay. So now there's 2 people. So there's Danielle and there's Jen. Who, I don't know if you have a friend named Jen, but I just...
Who doesn't have a friend
yeah,
named
right,
Jen, right?
exactly, at this point.
I'm sure I do out there.
So Danielle and Jen. So and it's, even if you're like, I'm booked the reading because I really hope, these people come through. And then all of a sudden, Jen's uncle Frank, who she hated, starts to come through, and he's like taken up all the time because he's a loudmouth,
Oh.
So, so I always say it's always good to do if you can do the private ones. It's worth it, 100%.
So how far does Jen need to be away from, let's say me? I bring my friend Jen. Does she need to be in like the hallway or?
No, I mean if it was a 2-person reading, I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But if yeah. So because some people will say, well, can I bring my friend for comfort?
Yeah.
And I'll say, okay, yeah, you can, but I'm just letting you know she's like bringing her energy in here, so I can't promise you that her loved ones aren't going to come through too.
That would totally be my luck.
Right? But I do have to say that I do have a strong female energy coming through for you.
Oh yeah, strong.
Okay?
Physically,
Strong female.
physically or mentally?
No, just energetically strong.
Really?
Strong.
What's she saying?
Okay. And well, you're funny. You're like, what's she saying? What is she wearing? What is she
Let me know what this.
No, but I do want to let you know is that she's holding on to a necklace. She shows me a necklace that you have, but she's also acknowledging a ring. So I don't know if you have her ring and you're thinking about putting it on a necklace, or if there's that connection where she had given you a necklace, but again, she shows me the ring connected to the necklace. So just hold on to it.
I have my
And
mom's
she's telling me
wedding
to
ring
keep
and I
going
wear
with
it as
it.
mine.
Okay, perfect. So that's probably why she's showing me the ring. But did she give you the necklace, or is there a connection? You lost a necklace? Why does she keep showing me the necklace? Were you looking for a necklace this morning?
No, but there's a necklace that I've wanted to find in the past. Really, I don't even know if she would
Of
remember
hers?
it. No, it was
Of
mine. It
hers?
was my own.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she has your necklace.
Yeah.
Did she steal our necklace?
Yeah, right?
My mom was not
And
a
she's
thief.
also just letting you know that she can breathe okay now.
Oh shit.
That's clearly her.
She's just
Yeah.
showing me that it was really difficult for her to breathe. And she goes, please just tell her I can breathe okay. And she's putting her lipstick on.
Really?
She's showing me putting lipstick on. Yeah.
I don't even remember my
And I
mom
think
wearing
the reason,
lipstick.
but what I think that what she's doing is she's showing this as part of her heyday and how she was in her heyday.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really neat.
Yeah.
That's so comforting.
And she has the best smile. I have to let you know she has the best smile.
Oh my God, that is awesome. She did have a really good smile. Nice teeth.
Yeah. And that's why she loves it. She's like, look. And her hair looks good. She was self-conscious about her hair.
Really?
Yeah, that's what she shows me. This is right before she passed. She was self-conscious of her hair.
Oh.
So I don't know if it wasn't, and she just said it wasn't the right way. Her hair wasn't the right way.
On her deathbed or?
Did they not do her hair correctly when she passed?
I don't know. Steve did that. I know. I didn't even go up to the coffin because I just don't do that. I don't like to see people after they're gone. So I wouldn't even know. Was her hair fine?
I don't know. I stayed with you. But she did have COPD. When I always knew her, she always struggled with breathing.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's ultimately what she passed of.
Right. And I think that's why she's just giving you that validation that she's okay. And that's why she's saying, I'm okay. I can breathe now.
That's so cool.
And she has that big, beautiful smile.
Huh. So you're
And
able
she goes,
to...
you know I love you. You know I love you. I didn't get a chance to say it enough.
Yeah, that's true also.
Yeah. And she goes, I know that. She said sometimes we didn't get along because we were both stubborn.
Well, I am.
That's true. She is.
Okay. All right. So maybe that's, yeah. But she says, I don't want you to feel bad for not doing as much as you wanted to do when she passed. Because there's a question
Mom.
about you not being there. Yeah. Like there's a question about you not being there.
In her passing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Well, I
shows
was
me the number
sleeping at
4.
night. Yeah, it was night. It was the middle of the night.
Okay. Because she shows me 4. So I don't know if this is 4 a.m. or,
It's probably about the time.
yeah, either 4 a.m. or you didn't see her for 4 days leading up to her passing.
Oh, no. Well, she lived with us, so we were there every day.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it could have been 4. Yeah, she just shows me 4.
Yeah, we were taking shifts. So my brother had been there, and then he called us. I guess in the morning he let us sleep, I guess.
He called me at like 6 something.
Yeah, maybe
You
it
were
was
sleeping.
around
I went
4.
to go get Starbucks for her because you were up late.
Oh, I
I'm
don't
awesome.
remember that.
Well, it's completely normal to not remember, especially things during a traumatic situation. We tend to automatically block certain things out just as a part of our process and healing.
I got to say, I was a very non-believer in any
Mm-hmm.
type of medium. And I'm blown away that you're able to even through a phone, get something and actually be easy to say that's her mom just by the few things. I know she has
Yeah.
a wedding ring. the breathing part and everything. And he did always say you guys never said you loved each other, like to each other often and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
we weren't like emotional.
it's
like
like
that.
Yeah, and that's why
I don't know how
she's
to feel
saying you
anymore.
just yeah. But she's just acknowledging that, you know, and I know the necklace doesn't make sense. So this is what I say, and this is what I said like 10 minutes ago. So I know the necklace doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm saying just hold on to it, because I wouldn't be surprised that like in a couple days even you're thinking about like what I said and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this makes sense." So just I'm pretty, because she's telling me to keep going with it. So when I hear that for me, I interpret that as, yeah, like, okay, it's going to make sense. It's just not there yet. So just hold on to it. But she did want to definitely let you know that she knows that you have the ring.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And who had the birthday? She shows me a happy birthday balloon.
Had the birthday? I had a birthday in May, and my son's birthday is in the coming week. Next weekend.
Okay, so it's probably with him then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she shows me you have two children.
I do.
2 and
yeah.
3. Yeah, you have 2 children, and then there was a pregnancy. Are you guys thinking about having more?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Definitely
I
not.
actually, that's
Don't
really
even say
personal.
that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot where I was.
No, but you said there
okay,
was
so
a
she shows-
pregnancy. What were you going to say?
Yep. So I said 2, and then I heard 3. So in my interpretation, it was 2 children, 3 pregnancies.
Well, our son, we think, was supposed to be a twin.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we know.
Okay.
he was
So
supposed to be a
3.
twin.
Gotcha. Oh, then that's 100% that.
Yeah.
Yep. So
That
that's why.
blows me
Yep,
away
3
right
children.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she would never have known that. Never.
Yep.
Nobody knows that.
And
Nick, you don't
so
even know that.
I'm surprised.
I just gave myself I have chills right now. And that's probably why she said it at that time, because she's so, and it's really like a puzzle, right? You kind of dump the puzzle pieces on the floor and you kind of piece it together. So she showed me that balloon, and on the balloon it was like one of those, those, what are they called, acrylic or
Yeah,
like
Mylar
metallic balloons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, those. And I saw the words happy birthday. So I'm like, okay, it's somebody's birthday. So it's either your birthday coming up, someone's passed, whichever, I'm not sure. And you were able to identify, oh no, it's my son. And once you said that, that's when she said, okay, 2, 3, 2, 3. So I'm like, okay, 2 kids, but there's supposed to be 3. Okay.
God.
Yeah. And and it was supposed to be a boy with him too, 2 boys.
Oh, wow. That we would never have known.
Okay. And it might have been too soon. I don't know. But
Yeah.
she shows me that she has a boy with her, a baby.
She has a baby.
She's acknowledging that.
Oh, my God. Like, I want to cry right now. How?
It's okay.
Wow.
So here's the thing, though. You're human, right? And everybody does. So I tell, the first thing people say when they start to get emotional is, "I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Why? Because you're human and you actually have feelings." Like, no, this is a
I'm
tough
just blown
thing.
away. No, I love the fact. I love everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I just can't believe how real you are.
And she's yeah, she's awesome. She really is. And I know you didn't see her in the way I'm looking at her right now, because she goes, she's not going to believe you if you tell her that I'm awesome. but she really is. And also Linda Ronstadt, or I don't know if I said her name wrong, right?
Linda Ronstadt?
Yeah, did she used to sing, Linda? Yes. But did your mom used to sing, or like, did she look like her, or is there a reason why she shows me Linda Ronstadt? I know I'm saying her name wrong and it's driving me crazy.
I don't know. What does Linda Ronstadt look like? I just know her. You know what? If she has dark hair, she looks like her.
Dark hair, and like doe eyes.
My mom's eyes were green, but definitely dark hair.
Okay. Google her when you get a second.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's what yeah. Don't go on my spelling though, because obviously I said it wrong. But
she sings "Don't You Make My Brown Eyes Blue," right? Isn't that the same lady?
Oh, I think so.
I think that's what she sings. Oh, I'm only pulling up black and white photos of her.
Of course.
But yeah.
Then also the name Mary or Marie.
For me, or
I thought it was for you. Yeah. And sometimes when I start pulling names, it could be people that are still here too. So just
my Aunt Mary,
just like the
passed
necklace.
away. Is it a deceased relative?
Is that her sister? Is that her sister?
No, her brother's wife.
So it's still
actually,
her sister.
it's Maureen.
Like,
Maureen, I'm sorry. Never mind. It's not,
Maureen.
not
Oh,
even
okay.
Mary.
All right. No, that's okay. And by the way, I'm going to tell you something too. When people sit down to have a reading, all of a sudden everybody doesn't know anything. like the
Yeah. Oh,
basics.
yeah,
They're
I
like,
bet.
I don't know. No, no, I don't get it. No. And she goes, just go to the beach. You're going to be fine.
Just go to for me to go to the
That's
beach?
mom. That's mom. Yeah. So
Okay.
here's where I'll say,
I'll go to the
I don't know
beach.
if you were just, were you just talking to someone about going to the beach or wanting to go to the beach?
Nope, but I was thinking today how nice it is just to be outside. Like, I never found the beauty in just relaxing outside,
Yeah.
but maybe it's something like that.
A lot of times too, when we think about things, we don't even have to say anything, but when we think about things, our thoughts manifest and they hear us. Even if you're like just having this minute by yourself and you're like, I just need more time to relax and be outside, like maybe go to the beach, like whatever your fantasy is of relaxation, it was your thought. And especially if it happened today and where mom's coming through today, this is just her way of saying, even though I'm not here physically, I'm still here. I still know what's going on.
I wonder then if, I mean, I don't know, if you're able to have that dialogue with her for quite a while after my mom passed, and I never put the two together until we talked to. I get this feeling sometimes where like, I was going to bring myself to the doctor. I thought I had like some incurable disease, but I smell smoke, you know, like that feeling you get if somebody's smoking. Yeah. Yep. I wonder if that's my mom because she brought that up.
Yes. Hello. Yep. Hello. Yep.
Oh, it is.
So, yeah, let's talk signs here. Okay. So, a lot of times our loved ones in spirit come through with signs. And if they used to smoke, sometimes we might be able to smell smoke. I always pick up on oil of Olay, by the way,
oh, that's
which is facial cream.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Yep. So I can, and that's what my mom used to wear.
Mine too.
I'm like, okay, I'm smelling facial cream. Even though my mom is still here, I'll be clear with that. But still, it's a memory. It's triggered. So, see pennies and dimes from heaven. A lot of times we find change, and we never realize, but it could be from somebody just giving you a penny or a dime. Butterflies, dragonflies, hawks are big, cardinals are big. These are all huge signs from spirit, just to let you know that they're here. They're not reincarnated. Like, one time I had somebody come to see me and she said, well, you told me that, my mom was a dragonfly, but they're all dead. And I said, what are you talking about? And she was like saving all these dragonflies and killing them. And I'm like, well, like, not that she wanted to kill them, but she was like, it's my mom. And I'm like, no, it's not actually your mom. But, just when you see a butterfly, it's just your mom's way of saying, hi, hello, so those are some of the signs you want to think about. My dad, he passed away November 6th. So I always look at the clock and it always ends up being 11:06. So, and it's not like 11:05. Oh, it's 11:06. Everybody, Dad's here. Like it's just, I happen to catch the clock at 11:06 all the time. So pay attention to those little signposts. And it doesn't necessarily mean like, well, why are they trying to connect? Like, is something wrong? No, it doesn't have to be wrong. It's just their way of saying hello. That's all. That's all. And again, when we go on, like, when we focus on, like you have intuition, Steve has intuition, everybody has intuition. So, focus on your own intuition. Maybe it's your own intuition just picking up, sensing that your mom's here with you.
Interesting. Well, I would never have put the two together until we talked to the paranormal expert, but now I do. But it hasn't happened.
Yeah. Well, I love that you guys do the paranormal stuff too, because I do too.
Oh, wow. Do you ever go on investigations and stuff?
Yeah, I've been to Waverly Hills Sanitarium, Eastern State Penitentiary. I host a lot of events at Lizzie Borden's, which is in Massachusetts. I do a ton of residential stuff. Yeah, I work with a paranormal group, and I do a lot with historical societies too.
Oh, that is awesome.
Well, being in Massachusetts, you go into like Salem often, I guess, or no?
Yeah, Salem. Yes, that's about an hour drive from me. So I love going there, especially in October, obviously. But it's New England, so there's so many different little locations within Massachusetts. My shop, I own a holistic shop, and it's right in the Bridgewater Triangle. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the Bridgewater Triangle before, but there's a lot of sightings of ghosts, serpents. My shop is on, like, there's a swamp called the Hockomock Swamp, and Hockomock Swamp is where spirits dwell. That's what it means. So people have seen like large life-size birds. They've seen weird lights as if it's a UFO. So anything that's pretty much like covered under cryptozoology is located right near me. So there's a lot of different avenues you can go to really find like a local haunt.
Yeah,
It's pretty easy here.
We loved Salem. We went there last year. We wanted to go back immediately.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and you go and it's like going back in time. You know, they have a lot of cool, there's the commercial side, like the commercial part of it, but then there's a lot of other things there too that you can do. That's amazing. And we have a lot of breweries that are good in Massachusetts. So you guys should come back out and check them out.
Your podcast right from them.
Totally in October. Totally.
Yes.
We'll come get a reading. We'll go to some
craft
breweries.
I'm always curious, and I like going in there because a lot of times, whether it's with a paranormal team or if it's with the historical society, they're always like, "Okay, we're not going to tell you anything. Just get in the car." And so we end up at some location and like, "Can you just walk around and see what you get?" And I really like doing that because I'm actually bringing the emotional side to the factual side. You know, like a lot of these people, especially the investigators, they do their research and they work on the facts of the location. And when they kind of bring me in there where I don't know where I'm going and I just start rattling off things, especially with the historical society members, I had a really great experience with one of them. I'll say it super quick because I don't know how much time we have. I feel like I'm a chatty Cathy today. I'm sorry.
We love
it. But I was in Duxbury, which is a small town in Massachusetts. And the Historical Society, this was years ago, same thing. They're like, "Okay, we're going to meet you in an undisclosed location and we're going to bring you to this place that we want you to bring you to." And I said, "Okay." So I go into this room. It's a bedroom. And I said to this woman, I look at her, I go, "Well, I just want to acknowledge the name Charlotte." And she's just showing me, like, she's telling me thank you. She wants me to tell you thank you. And it's funny because I know, like, this is from the 17th century, but she's showing me like a stack of books on your passenger side seat. Like, I don't know what that means. And she started to get teary-eyed. And she goes, "This is amazing." I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, because this is Charlotte's room, and I've devoted all my time to really figure out who Charlotte was and what her place was here."
Oh, wow.
And so that was the representation of the books. And she had the books on her passenger side seat of the house and so forth. So that was like, even though they never met, they never knew each other, it was her way of just basically saying, "Hey, thank you. Thank you for doing this." So I was able to piece that emotional side just to kind of give her that validation that, yep, she's doing the right thing.
Okay, so that brings me to one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do spirits have past lives? I mean, can they reincarnate or is it just one and done?
Reincarnation, definitely. I do feel like there is reincarnation. And I know people that work on a lot of past lives, meaning like they can bring you through like a past life regression.
Right.
And I always find that super, super interesting. But I don't feel confident enough in really like giving you a direct answer as far as, okay, they were reincarnated after 7 years, or they like, because I do know just from my own personal experience where I do believe in reincarnation, but I don't know exactly how it all works. I just find it very interesting. Have you ever sat with somebody going through a past life regression before?
No, but I'd love to.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. I sat in with one of my friends because she requested me that I was there. So I just sat there and I took notes. And she ended up going through 8 different past lives. Wow. And each life was, She's a trauma therapist. That's what she does. That's her today in 2020. She's a trauma therapist. But each one of her past lives was like helping someone. Like we went back to like in the 40s where she was like, she said that she was in a school and she was a little girl and she didn't like it because all the boys got all the attention and she had to fight to speak her mind. And then we ended up going to, I think it was like Haiti. And she said that she saw herself in a white lab coat and she was helping people cure a virus. Like it's just,
Damn.
because I know her, she's like a sister to me. And again, I was taking notes. I wasn't bringing her there. But like for her to so naturally come out and give all this detailed information was pretty crazy. And again, she did like either 7 or 8 different lives, but they were all some, if you read them all, going back and you read the notes, they all kind of related to what she's doing now. Like she's a trauma therapist and she's making a difference and she does more than just that. She also has that holistic approach and she really is, I don't know if trendsetter would be like the right word for it, but she really is making a clear path of her and her business and so forth. So it made perfect sense that like 1 year she's in Philadelphia, the next 200 years before that she's in Haiti, and like it's so bizarre but yet so right on.
Always in service. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she was. She was always in service, like, but making sure like her words mattered too. So
Oh wow,
it was really cool.
that is so cool. Oh, now I need a past life. Now we need to find somebody that does past life regression.
Right. Well, you came to the right place. I can probably find one in my phone book or my phone.
Okay, October's our
yeah. We'll talk after the show. Yeah, because like, and that's the cool thing is a lot of us. Since I have the holistic shop, I a lot of times get people that do astrology and people that do dream interpretation and people that do past life regression, hypnosis, and all this kind of stuff. It fascinates me too, you know. So I kind of hold the people that I refer to a certain standard as well. So yeah, I'm sure I can find someone who does past life regression for you.
And today we have a couple beers left over from previous episodes. First up, we have from Gusto Brewing, Adventure Pants, an American Pale Ale. It's 5.2%.
Oh, it smells good.
That's really fucking good.
Yeah, I would say you have I don't know, I'm getting like a citrus smell from it and a nice fruity taste to go along with it.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Nice hazy colors in the glass.
Okay, so if this is going to sound so stupid, but I like the aftertaste.
Like the nice fruity aftertaste I have in my mouth?
Yeah. Is that weird?
No, it's enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised because I don't like those kind of.
As I'm letting it sit, yeah, it definitely does have a good aftertaste in there.
Right? It's like it's like kind of like being out in like the fall or something when it's nice and brisk. It would be nice.
I'd say this about, for me, I guess 6.6.
Let's see, because I like the super hoppiness. So I got to be fair, though. I think I'm going to go with 6.9.
Oh, okay, because I was going to go a little higher with 7. I like it.
It's strong. It's still high scores, still strong scores, above average. And then the other beer we have from the same company, Gusto Brew Co., is they're calling Dancing Days, and it's a German Pilsner.
Oh, I could drink this like anytime. It's light.
That's coming at you like a kind of like a Budweiser, Bud Light type deal, just a nice light beer.
Yeah, it comes off as a Pilsner, exactly what it's described as. I'm trying to remember because I have been in Germany. I have had like German Pilsners, and it is very comparable for what you could get over in Germany.
It has a German flavor to you?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like as something that is like sparking a memory of what I've had when I was over there.
Well, okay. So that must be a good thing then.
Yeah.
Nick's using his olfactory shit.
Well, they did their job. They called it a German Pilsner, and he's like, "Fuck it, I was in Germany. They're on spot. They're right there."
Yeah, when they gave me a big ass fucking glass because Germany everything's bigger, and it's just like
that's Texas.
It's everywhere. But yeah,
also German beers.
These are what I was like pounding down were for a beer like this.
Yeah, I think you could drink this anytime, any single time, and you could drink it with anything.
It's flavorful, but not full of like, crazy flavors where it's going to overpower like a meal or something.
I thought you were going to say that. It's flavorful, but not full of flavor.
It is. It's got like its Pilsner flavor to it,
But
I guess.
I think it's even better than most Pilsners I've had. Almost crisper. Like I would rather this than your normal like big industry Pilsner.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of those are kind of more watered down tasting.
Yeah.
Same alcohol, though. This one's like a 5.4, so it's similar to like most light beers and stuff.
Hops?
I don't know, Danielle. Where's your hops?
Well, I was going to gauge it on what y'all thought, but
Wow.
Oh,
Got a class copycat.
no, I like to go a little higher than y'all.
I'm throwing
What's
this.
your true thoughts?
So my true thoughts are I would give it a 6, I believe.
A 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 hops. That's not bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I could probably drink it with anything.
Nick, where you at with it?
I'm trying to think, but I'll probably contradict myself in the future. But right now I'm at like 7.6, 7.7,
Wow.
probably, hopefully my like favorite Pilsner to have.
He is a big Pilsner fan over there.
He likes it. If you're such a Pilsner fan, why are you not going higher than that? Like 9? Like what would you give a 9?
I don't know. I'm trying to save like my high 8s and 9s for
He's
like
trying to save himself.
Yeah.
We might have to come back to Gusto
Yeah,
and retract.
there's something. Yeah, we might have to do like another turn back episode. Like, we're
We'll just have to do a Pilsner episode where we have multiple companies' Pilsners so you can truly gauge them for yourself.
But yeah, this is pretty delicious, especially again for a Pilsner.
Yeah, I was going to go 7.2. A nice 7.2. It's a nice, comfortable tasting, enjoyable Pilsner. And those two beers are from GustoBrewCo.com. And you can also find them on Instagram at GustoBrewCo. And our last beer of the show, we have Flying Fish, what they're calling Jersey Juice. That is a 6% IPA.
Now, is this what they're trying to say that Jersey tastes like?
No, this tastes nicer than Jersey.
Yeah,
I like it.
See, that's stronger on the hops, something I'm much more of a fucking fan of.
yeah. This is, I would say, a stronger IPA.
Of course, it's very citrusy, maybe a little mangoes in there. It's tropical. It's like a tropical fruit hop party in my mouth.
I like that.
You can taste mango?
Nice tropical party.
Yeah, it's a tropical
I
fruit
smell
hop
it.
party in my
I feel
mouth.
like I smell it.
Yeah, you can smell mangoes in there a little bit too.
Yeah,
No, I can actually taste them though. It's actually really good.
I agree.
When I smell it, I can't like bring out just the mango, but I bring out like a fruit salad. Like just a bunch of fruit coming at me.
It's on their specials menu, so I guess it's not around all the time, but it's something they've done multiple times when I looked at it online. But I'm a fucking fan. That's fucking good.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
It's not too strong. It's not too high in the alcohol content. It's just really fucking good.
I'd give this one about a 7.2 out of 10 on the hops.
I think I would do, oh no, I'd do 6.5.
6.5. Okay, it's not bad. I was going 7.5. As an IPA fan, I got to give my IPAs consistent. They're up in the 7s already, and that's one of the ones I like a lot. So I'm gonna go 7.5 for them, 7.5. And that's Flying Fish. You can find them at flyingfish.com and also on Instagram at Flying Fish Brew.
As far as dreams, do you think that your loved ones can come? Well, actually, do they come to you in your dreams, or do they come to us all in our dreams?
Yes. Okay, so lately, have you guys noticed that you've been having super, super vivid dreams lately?
Not Steve. He doesn't dream.
I actually don't dream.
Oh, okay. Wah, wah.
Well, no, he does, but he doesn't remember them.
No, you don't. How do you know? Are you in my dreams?
A lot of times we have dreams and we don't remember them. So the difference between a dream and a visit, right? So my dad has passed away. He passed away in 1999. And since then, I've had now 5 dreams. Actually, I want to add another because I just had one recently. But I've had 5 dreams of my dad in the last 21 years. And I can tell you exactly what each dream was. Each of those 5 dreams, I can tell you. But if you said, well, Tiff, what did you dream about last night? I would have no clue.
Right.
So that's the difference between a dream and a visit. A lot of times our loved ones will come through. Even right after they pass, they may come through. The dream may not go as what you would expect it to be, meaning I'll tell you the first 2 dreams that I had of my dad. The first dream was I could hear him, but I couldn't find him. So I could hear his voice, but I couldn't find him. And then the second dream, he just kept walking up and down the stairs and nobody knew he was there. I was the only one that could see him, but he wasn't talking.
Oh.
So like, that's what I mean by like the dream was a little weird. Like he didn't say anything, or he was saying stuff, but I couldn't find him. So I feel like those dreams were while he was like transitioning. When I talk about transition, it's not like, because a lot of times people will say, has he crossed over? Is that like, a transition is basically like a move, right? Like when you move to a new location, you have to figure out where everything is and you have to get established and just be good with where you're at. And I feel like when we transition from our physical body into where we end up going, there is that little time relapse where they start to just get used to where they are. So I've heard people dream of their loved ones frequently, and then like myself, who this is what I do for a living, and out of 21 years, I've had 5 dreams. So that's like 1.5 dreams a year, right? I don't know if I did the math on that. No, not a year. Every 5 years.
That would be
every 5
way
years.
more.
Yeah,
than
I'm like, wait, that's what I meant. Again, reasons why I'm not a mathematician. I'll stick to the mediumship. But yeah. So ultimately, yes, it's great when they do come through in dreams. And I always tell people, if they experience a reading, don't be surprised if you end up having a dream of your loved one after. Just by you receiving a reading, you're opening yourself up. And that's the best way. I think a lot of times people want to hear from their loved ones so much, but they want to hear from them on their own terms. And it doesn't work that way. That's why I said a while back when I said spirit is in control, because spirit is in control. They're going to give me the information that you need to hear. If you're like, I need a sign now, chances are you're probably not going to get that sign, you know? So you have to, I mean, would you give anybody anything if they talk to you like that too? You know, so you have to kind of look at it in perspective. Yeah. So just, you know, like I'll use you, Danielle, like the fact that your mom came through and brought up you thinking about like just relaxing outside, or how relaxing outside is, and where you'd like to be, that's a huge validation to let you know that she's here with you.
I know, that is pretty comforting.
Yeah. I mean, she might not have said like what your nickname was, you know, but
I didn't
that's
even
okay.
get a middle name. I didn't have no nickname.
Right? Exactly. So yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, you know, you can't be in control of the information that you're going to get. You just, the more open you are, the easier it is for that energy to flow.
So when you had the dreams of your father, were you aware that he had been passed on already in your dream?
Yes, actually all of the dreams.
And was it similar to a lucid dream? Because you're already knowing that he's passed, and it's not typical that he would be in your presence.
Right. So in all the dreams, I knew that he had passed, and so there was one particular dream that really stuck out to me that I had. Is I was in the home that I grew up in, and he used to always do the laundry, and we kept the washer and dryer in the downstairs bathroom. And so I was standing in the hallway outside of the downstairs bathroom, and he opened up the door, and there he was in his like white t-shirt and sweatpants, and he looked good, like he had his coloring, and because he died of lung cancer. Oh. So in his good heyday, you know, he was always like tan and so forth, and so he looked really good. And I remember saying like, hey, in the dream, I said, hey, you're not supposed to be here. And he gave me this huge hug, and he goes, I love you and I miss you so much.
Oh my God. And
it was like, and literally right after that was like when my alarm went off.
Oh.
And I can just remember, like I'm getting emotional now.
I got chills.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember that dream so much, and I can remember his facial expressions. I can, like I said, like even like his coloring looked good. He was just like, he was who, if I was to remember him, that's what he looked like when I was in 8th grade, you know, like before he was sick and before anything really bad happened, you know, that's how I remember him. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
So that even that like short little, I love you and I miss you Like, I'll never forget that. And sometimes that just seems like the simplest words, but it definitely gets you in the feels.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
I remember my grandmother always telling my brother and I, she's going to come back and tell us what the other side was like. Still waiting.
Yeah. Hey, well, she was trying. She was trying.
I did always you did spark something in me though. I used to have dreams of her. Like every time I had like a new boyfriend or a new friend, I would introduce them to her in a dream, and she'd tell me right out if she liked them or not. I didn't want to hear it at the time.
See, I know, right? And that's what I mean about the relationship. Like, they're just very like, there's no beating around the bush with them. They just tell you exactly how it is, right? So, like, yeah, especially when we talk about relationships, that's just a sticky conversation, like it really is. Because, of course, so wait, does this mean we're going to get married? Is this like, how many kids are we going to have? What's going to happen, And then they're like, well, continue on with school. Put yourself first. You're like, oh, this doesn't sound right.
Not what I wanted to hear. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever gotten somebody who specifically wanted to come in there and hear from a particular individual, and that individual is just not present?
Yeah, actually. So, and that's when I have to say, okay, you have to give it perspective, like look at it from perspective. Say if you're like, okay, life's really tough right now. My finances are awful. I want to go to a medium because I wonder, I miss my Aunt Margaret. Okay. But your Aunt Margaret is horrible at finances, but you have your Uncle Frank that comes in who is like a banker or an accountant, and he starts giving you information. And you're like, well, I just want to hear from my Aunt Margaret. Why is my Uncle Frank coming through? Because he's giving you the information that you need to hear, because this is what's going on in your life currently. So, yeah. So you really have to kind of give it perspective.
That is very cool. I like that.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that like your Aunt Margaret wouldn't show up at another date. It very well could mean it just might not be her time to come through because Aunt Margaret went bankrupt. So she doesn't know. She doesn't know, she's not good with money. So you really need to hear from Uncle Frank pertaining to what's going on.
Uncle Frank was the big loudmouth of the group. So he's coming in through
Yes. Right. Yeah. So that's why I always say, I'm like, you have to give it perspective, and you have to realize that you can't control the reading all the time. And who comes through for you is who's meant to come through pertaining to right now, currently.
Yeah, it's not you could draw them on. You're like, come on, I know you're here.
Yeah. But I will say, like, honestly, chances are they will come through. Like, there's a high chance that the people that you really want to connect with will come through. There is a high chance, but also make sure you have that perspective before going into a reading.
Super interesting.
You mentioned that sometimes you go to a site and you don't even know what it's about or anything like that. Like on those sites, you're able to figure out, let's say if it was a murder, you're really able to figure out like what happened?
Yeah, well, I have helped with missing person cases and murders and so forth. So a lot of times, like, and I've worked with detectives and so forth, I have been able to successfully give information or even validate the people working on cases as far as like maybe certain pieces of evidence that they never leaked to the public, or certain locations where someone might be found. Even with like missing pets, I've done that too. So I have been able to do that. As far as solving like any like unsolved mysteries from, like I mentioned Lizzie Borden, right? So Lizzie Borden, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that happened in 1892. So I've been at the house so many times, I have certain feelings on who murdered who, but that actually, like, she was acquitted. I don't know if we'd ever be able to go back and really solve the case.
She was acquitted? That part I didn't remember.
Yeah, and her sister Emma ended up buying Maplecroft, which is like not even a mile up the street, and they lived there for a while.
Oh, wow. Right up the street from you?
Oh, from the home
house
where the murders took place. Yeah,
oh,
sorry. Yeah.
Up the road from where she killed everybody.
I would have taken off to a whole other land.
Yeah, but it was different then. It was just totally different. It was They were a very, very, very wealthy family.
I don't even know if I remember the whole story. I thought I remember like she killed or allegedly she killed everybody.
Well, that's the poem. That's the poem.
Yeah, so she allegedly killed her father and then her stepmother, Abby, or her stepmother first, then her father.
But you feel like you have a different take, or is that the actual take that you have?
I don't feel like she did it. I feel like somebody else did it.
Oh, wow.
Because there's also there's like people, J.V. Morris was a relative that was staying with them. If I'm correct, I believe he was a butcher, so there's like all these little intricate stories woven in that, you just learn the nursery rhyme. So that's what you think it is. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a different time back then. So,
Right. It was much
and
easier
it was
to
the
kill people and get away with it.
Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah, hey, they didn't have any DNA tests, like it's not nowadays. It's, if you watch the ID channel, like I do, I know I'm plugging it, but it's really difficult to do anything these days because scientifically we're so advanced. So Lizzie's case was it was the second murder that was photographed.
Oh, yeah.
In the
remember
history.
seeing those
Yeah.
photos too. Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody wants that. Well, I guess that's
Right.
where
I know.
forensic starts.
Exactly.
So if somebody takes their life, does that come through right away?
Yep.
So they go equally onto the other side as differently as or as the same as somebody who's passed away naturally?
Yes.
Okay.
In my experience, when someone has committed suicide, or someone has like an accidental overdose or something of that nature, or even like a tragic passing, it's still spirit. And so we're still connected through infinite love, no matter what. Depending on how the person comes through, they may show me how they passed, but it doesn't mean that they're holding on to that anymore. They may not be holding on to the disease. Or like, I'll use your mom. When she came through, she says, just tell her I can breathe okay. I'm okay. And just tell her that, so she was acknowledging that she had issues with breathing prior to her passing. But more importantly, she wants you to remember her that she can breathe okay. And it's giving that peace of mind.
So how long do the spirits stay with you? Just as long as you have that dialogue and then they're out of there, or do they hang on to you?
Yeah, for me, it's like a light switch. I have pretty good boundaries when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
you can't take them home with you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I will though. However, sometimes if I do readings back to back, like schedule multiple readings in a day, sometimes spirit will come through to like the reading before, because that's happened.
Early.
Yeah, they show up early, and I'm like, okay, this is the name I'm getting, and they're showing me the Navy, like they were in the Navy, and people were like, nope, and then all of a sudden, the next reading, I'm like, okay, this is weird, but I had this guy come through using the Navy. Oh my gosh, that's my dad. I'm like, okay, so he was definitely early. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes they may like sneak on through beforehand, but a lot of times too, it's generally they're pretty good at being punctual, but sometimes they slip through.
Which is why you said that they're not on our same timeline.
Exactly. So, and I always find that that's pretty interesting when like they come through to the reading beforehand and they're like, oh, sorry, wrong time. Sorry. But it's like they're excited. They know, they know all the time. I did a radio show once, and we were taking online readings, and they were only just like quick, not even 2-minute readings. We had to cut to commercial, and the phones were lighting up, and there was one call, and they put this person on hold. I go, oh, okay, after the commercial, I need to talk to this person. Her son's coming through. And he's like, okay, like they're like, yeah, that's fine. But they ended up running out of time.
Oh.
So I never got to talk to this, like, and I didn't know who this woman, like, I'm like, it's a woman, but I'm hearing her say, like, my mom, that's what I kept hearing. My mom. And I knew it was a boy. And they ran out of time. So I never got to her. And so I went on with my day, and later on this is when I used to do house parties, which is doing a group reading at somebody's house. So I went to this person's house. I was giving people readings, and I get to this one woman, and I said, oh, your son's coming through, and he's so excited that he can really talk to you finally, blah, blah, blah. And I was going on, giving her all this information. And she got emotional and she's like, "Can I tell you something?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And she goes, "I called the radio station this morning and I got through and they put me on hold. And then I got disconnected and I just sat in my car and cried."
Oh.
And so when I went into work, one of the girls had said, I told her about it, and one of the girls had said, "Why don't you come with me tonight? That I'm going to my friend's house. She has some medium that's going to be there." That medium was me.
No.
And so, so and I didn't know, like, obviously she's the one who told me the story, but it made perfect sense, right? So this is how we talk about like divine intervention, because I had mentioned I was doing the radio readings. Whenever I'm on the radio, the readings are like 2 minutes long. Literally, it's like, oh, Danielle, your mom's here. She loves you and she likes that you wear a ring. Bye. Okay, who's next? Like,
Bye.
that's literally, it's like a drive-by reading because it's radio and they have to play so many commercials and it's, like there's a lot of things that go into it. So I said, this makes perfect sense because her son, Chris, wanted to talk to her and have more time. It wouldn't have been effective and it wouldn't have been what she wanted. She would have been disappointed if she had gotten me on that radio and I said, "Your son's here and he loves you," because she wanted more. And so she made the choice of going to that party that I did, and I was able to give her plenty of time with her son and give her more validation and more messages than just "I love you." Even though "I love you" is profound, but for her, she needed more. She needed that time.
That's one hell of a coincidence. So,
No such thing as coincidence, my
yeah,
friend.
I was just going to say, do you believe that there's no such thing as coincidence? No, not even in the little thing. No. I mean, I've always believed the same thing. Do you think in every respect?
In every respect, and when we talk about, Steve, when we were joking about like winning the lottery and all that stuff, right? And I mentioned like setting your intentions, like when you start really focusing in on some things, and it could be anything in your life. If you're like, all right, like I'm going to picture myself on this boat because I want to go on a cruise and I see myself going to the Bahamas or wherever it is you want to go, like really visualize that. Really visualize yourself like on a boat and be super detailed on like, okay, you can feel the sun because it's nice and warm in the Bahamas and you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I don't know.
You'd look so hot.
But yeah, whatever it is. But like be super, super detailed because just like I said, they pick up on your thoughts and they manifest it. That's how strong our own energy is. So going back to like coincidence and things like that happening, I feel like a lot of times we attract what we are looking for. We just have to be aware of the signposts that are being shown that are usually right in front of us.
I tell you that all the time.
Get on it.
No, I always tell them to focus and it'll happen and you have to be specific. And
I'm going to focus on you doing that, so
can't do all the work.
I don't have to.
Right? But I mean, but yeah, so, and it's funny because, we always, as humans, we always want to find the logic. And that's why I always say, I'm like, you got to when you get in a reading and thinking on the spiritual side, sometimes you have to just think logic, like throw it out the window. Who cares? Like just focus on like how you feel and, what type of energy you're really putting out there because you're attracting that energy. Like think about it. Like I'm sure you have mornings where you get out of bed and you're like, oh, I'm late. I put on this ill-fitting shirt or whatever, and this day's gonna just suck, blah, 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 right? And then you go to get a coffee at the coffee shop and it's not made the way you want, and like, because you're negative Nelly, you're putting that negativity out there. So it's really important. So that's what you're gonna get. So it's really important to be mindful of the energy that you put out there. I mean, everybody can have bad days, but ultimately it's really important. So when certain positive things happen in your life, it's not a coincidence that things are going your way. It's just because that's what you're putting out there.
Yeah, it's just going to roll. Just keep rolling into one big manifestation.
It really is. Like today, I know you said that you looked at my shop. So this morning I woke up and I just posted a picture of my shop on one of my pages. And And one of my friends, like, but in the back of my head, I've been like wanting to redo it somehow, but I just haven't had the focus to do it. And one of my friends reached out to me this morning. She's like, hey, can I come down there and like just give you my ideas of what you could do for your shop? And I'm like, sure, that's fine with me, like out of nowhere. And so she was able to like help me kind of reorganize and decorate where things should go in my shop, where it gives it much more of like a decluttered, airy feeling, which is something that I've been wanting to do, but I couldn't get out of my own way to do it. So I was putting that out there like, okay, that's on my list. This is stuff that I want to do. I just want to declutter my life, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, here she, sends me a text like, hey, how about we do it today? And I said, perfect. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't a coincidence that I was thinking of it. And then all of a sudden she asked me. It's because I was putting that energy out there. Like, okay, let's declutter. Let's figure it out with things that I need to do. Yeah. I had to get rid of a grill last week. And so I didn't have a grill. I end up swinging by my friend's house really quick on Saturday. And she goes, hey, I just bought my boyfriend a grill for Father's Day. Do you want this one? I didn't even tell her that I got rid of a grill. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, she dropped it off today. So that's the kind of stuff that happens, but you just kind of put it out there. And why not, right? Why not? At the end of the day, whether you believe it or not, it's not going to hurt anything. Why don't you just do it? And if it doesn't work, then fine. Find other ways. That's why, like, when people are like, well, I'm skeptical. And I'm like, well, why try not to be for a minute and see if it works? And if it works, then everybody wins, right? But if it doesn't work, okay, then go back to being skeptical and find another avenue. But yeah, why not? Think Mr. Miyagi.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah. Or Yoda. Come on. Like, you guys caught up? Have you seen? There's Reiki in the last one. They did Reiki. It's pretty cool. All energy. All energy.
I haven't seen any of the new ones. I'm old school.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. Yeah, I was pretty. The past couple I really liked because they really did hone in on some of the energy aspects of like the Force. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is cool. It all makes sense. It all goes together. Energy is energy, and you can. Well, I guess now that I'm thinking about. The other day I was asking one of our guests if he could, or if he knew or ever heard of seeing in the nothing. And he understood what I was saying, but he didn't. But I feel like that's what you do. Just there's energy everywhere. And you're seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just can't, but you can.
Everybody can.
Well, yeah.
Some just shut it down. Yeah, everybody just shuts it down. Yeah, because they can't be bothered with it.
Right. And you have that natural athletic ability, like you were telling
right.
us.
That metaphor or whatever. I don't know if I use that word right, but yeah, like you just have some people that are like gifted in one way and some people that aren't. Like it's just whatever. I mean, but we all are intuitive. That's the one thing I do want to get across is that we all are intuitive. It's just some of us are tuned in differently.
Yeah, Steve. I'm super intuitive, so just watch yourself.
Yes.
Way to lift her up.
Right?
She just talked about this.
So, hey, that's what I do.
That's what she does.
Well, Tiffany, I know you mentioned it a few times. Why don't you tell everybody again where they can find you?
Well, my website is tiffanyrice.com, where you can read about me, you can book appointments with me, and so forth. But I'm also on Instagram at SpiritTiff, on Twitter at SpiritTiff, and then on Facebook is Spirit Medium Tiffany.
Awesome.
As always, you guys can find us at thebeerlatteshow.com or the Beer Latte Show on Facebook and Instagram, and Beer Latte on Twitter. See you guys next week. Bye.
Perfect.
Yeah. This drip all on my body, soaking wet the sunny. Looking like a walking liquor, you can tell I'm grinding. Rolling back was full of